Welcome, everybody. How's everybody been doing? I know we've had a bunch of snow and, crazy weather out there. Did anybody out there lose power or water? We lost water for about 4 days. That was not a good thing. But I hope everybody's okay. It is sun shining. It's been pretty nice in the last couple of days. I hope you weathered the storm like everybody else. And again, thanks for coming. I assume you're here to maybe do a fun, fast art project. That is one of the reason why I'm here, and hopefully that's why you're here too. One of the things right off the bat I want to get out is let's talk about the materials that you're going to use, the medium that we're going to use, supplies like white paper, pencils, maybe a pencil sharpener, erasers, something real simple stuff that we work with in this program. Make sure you have some kind of color, crayons, pencils, colored pencils, oil pastels, whatever. Just something that you have at home that you can use. Let's go. Let's do this. First and foremost, let's talk about what we're going to do and not how we're going to do it. As you well know by now, if you've been doing my classes online, we always start out with a theme or an idea, and then we create a art project around that theme, around that word. And today, the word or the words is a phrase that I know I grew up with, and I'm sure that you have heard it too. And the term is follow your heart. Now, what does that mean? When you follow your heart, what does that actually mean? In fact, it's kind of interesting because it'll be different for everybody, really, maybe, When I talk about following your heart, I think of it as always trying to do the right thing. What does your brain think? If somebody comes up to you and is wanting you to maybe do something that you know that you may not should do, right? Follow your heart. If your heart tells you that you can get in trouble over that, or somebody's going to find out and you're going to get in trouble, or maybe it's just not the right thing to do. If you know that in your heart, if you know that if I do this or if I do that, I'm going to get in trouble, it may not be the right thing, then you're really not following your heart, right? You follow your heart by when you have to make those decisions, right? We all make those decisions every day. Should I have another piece of cake? Should I leave the house when I'm not supposed to leave the house? That kind of a thing. We make these kinds of decisions 10, 15, 20 times a day, right? And so I want you to think of it in terms as a check. You check yourself. If you're going to say something mean to somebody, follow your heart. Would you want somebody to say that to you? It's important to be able to understand that most of you have the right answers already. Should I do this or should I not? When you make a decision, Now, whether or not you follow your heart, that's another story. And so I thought I'd do a kind of a late Valentine's Day kind of card because of the word heart. So what I would like for you to do is I want you to think of a Valentine's Day card for yourself, right? I know that may sound a little weird and crazy, but think about it. You are ultimately a good person. You're a smart person, right? I want you to draw the cover of a card, a Valentine's Day card, whatever. You following your own heart. And when you follow your heart, it's not a matter of just staying out of trouble. It's about doing what's right for you. That's the cool thing. You and I and everybody else has the ability, we have the ability to make good decisions about ourselves and what we should do and maybe what we shouldn't do. So I did this. This was kind of a cop-out. I put follow your heart, which that's what I want you to do too. And in here I want you to draw a picture of something that you know that you're following your own heart. If you've got 6 cookies and you've already eaten 5, and a little boy comes by and he looks hungry, if you follow your heart, you might go, "Hey, you want a cookie?" Or if you don't follow your heart, you might go, "Look at all the cookies I've got and you don't have any." There's a difference. And I always think that if you follow your heart, because in your heart, most of you know the right thing to do. And again, you don't have to do exactly what I did, right? You can if you want. First thing you do is how I did it. I wanted the letters big. So I drew my letters out. Making sure that I have room to go all the way across. I'm almost, there we go. And I'm going to put heart at the bottom. When's the last time you followed your heart and did the right thing? Anybody out there? Follow your heart. Should I go to school? Should I not go to school? Should I play in my backyard like my folks told me to? When you follow your heart, to me what it means is that you're always thinking about the future. What will this decision I make, and how is that going to affect me? I've worked with a lot of kids before where they don't have that. They just do whatever pops into their mind, that's what they do, right? They never really stop and think, okay, if I do this or this, if I say this or I interrupt in class, and I know that I'm going to get in trouble for it, what I do is I follow my heart and I ask myself, okay, I want to say this out loud in the class because it's funny and people are laughing or something like that. But if I do that, are there consequences? Am I going to get in trouble? Those are things that you ask your heart. Not really your heart, but your mind. You know, who you are inside. Again, we all have that. We all come into contact in doing stuff like this. So, got to follow, got a heart. Let's put your in here. Follow your heart. So, what did I just do? Did you just see what I just did? Here we go. Silly me. We all make mistakes, right? Right? We all make mistakes. Okay. Once again, think about the last time you followed your heart and you did the right thing. Boy, I do not want to do homework today. I can't stand it. I do too much homework. Should I just skip it and tell my folks that I've done it? Or should I do it? Well, what does your heart tell you? You know that you need to do that homework. You know that you need to do these lessons so you can get a grade and do the right thing. And so, whatever that is, I think needs to be celebrated. Every time you do the right thing, every time that you follow your heart and you do the right thing, it helps with your self-esteem. People will like you more. You'll feel better about yourself when you do good things because it's the right thing to do. Now, if you want to just do something like that, you can do that too. What I did is I made a heart, and I just embellished it. Embellished it means that I added a lot of frou-frou stuff around it to make it more fancy. I made it more fancy instead of just making a heart. And you can do that too if you want. I would like for you to kind of do that. You know, put your basic heart shape down like this. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And then ask yourself, what can I do to make that even more special? Right? So, I think it's, at this point, I want you to just start thinking about the colors that you're going to use. I did a kind of a red, motif, design, but you don't have to do that. If you want to make your heart, purple and green and orange, go for it. It doesn't have to be a typical Valentine's Day card. In fact, in a lot of ways, I think that's kind of boring. So I ask you to kind of use your imagination and go nutty. If you noticed, I put like little wings on the side and some ribbons coming out. I just tried to make it real fancy and something pretty enough to, if I was going to give it to somebody, they would like it. And that makes me feel good. And so maybe you could do the same kind of thing. Another thing, this is so cool. I don't know if you know anything about the history of sending cards and Valentine's Day cards and stuff like that, but we're going to kind of get into that. I want to show you some history of how cards, the whole industry of cards, came to being and when. You'd think they'd been doing it for thousands of years, but they haven't. So anyway, again, if you haven't gotten your materials yet, get those together. We've got a second go around in just a little bit. But anyway, start up. If you haven't started up, I want your words in first. Follow your heart, and then we'll continue.